Benjamin Sesko is making quite the impression at Manchester United. Their coaches and everyone around is shocked by him. And could he even start tomorrow? Like, I wouldn't be completely shocked if he did, despite him not having a pre-season. Sancho, I'm not going to say anything, just still dragging on. Baleba, off? Or is it off? Or is it really off? You know, we obviously spoke about us being told last summer Ugarte was off, and we went in for Burge for a little bit, then we went back in for Ugarte, but PSG actually wanted to sell Ugarte. But some fans are saying, you know, Baleba's put this weird message online, a bit of a cryptic kind of message. What does it mean? Does it mean the move's still on, or are we just really deeping it because we really want Baleba to happen? And maybe we need to accept it probably is unlikely to happen, but we want it to happen. We're going to talk about Hjulmand. We're going to talk about all the latest Manchester United news. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show. Mazraoui has now returned to grass training, but will not be involved in matches for the next few weeks. Is also another update coming in. But we're going to dive into all the latest Manchester United news and round it up in under 10 minutes for you guys, starting with Benjamin Sesko, and who could be making his debut tomorrow. Benjamin Sesko has left players and staff shocked with his incredible work ethic internally. Always the first in and the last to leave training, always doing hours of extra recovery and gym work, even after normal sessions. He's settling in fast. Now, this has come out from Sully Talks, and Sully obviously gets lots of inside information in and around Manchester United. And one thing I love that Sully's mentioning is how hard Sesko works. Sesko turned down bigger wages apparently from Newcastle United to move to Manchester United. Sesko really wanted the Manchester United move, but he's not just someone who's like, I've got my move, I've made it. He's doing extra work in the gym, and I like that in players. I think, you know, it's not just about signing a player that's good and that the manager wants and suits the system, but it's about signing players with right attitude. That's what we need to do. You know, one thing about Alanga, we used to hear from Ralph Rangnick, was how good his attitude was and how he would be doing loads of extra recovery work and stuff. You know, we hear about Casemiro, how he's really tried to get into shape. We know that, you know, maybe he's not the best player in the world, but Delot has a good attitude. Lucha has a good attitude. Bruno has a good attitude, you know, and Boomer's known for working hard. So it's really good to have players in that are becoming more green flag players, because we do have a lot of red flag players, and Jadon Sancho being a big example of that. We don't know what's happening. He's rejecting clubs that are giving him game time and good money, and you know, no one really knows what's going on there. But we have players like Sesko that are working hard, that are leaving the staff shocked with his work ethic and everything, which is good to see. And I'm so excited to see Sesko and what he might do for us tomorrow versus Arsenal. I do think if Sesko's going to get his first goal, him scoring versus Arsenal is pretty poetic, considering Arsenal and Arteta have been trying to sign him for well over a year. So anyway, let's get into the Jadon Sancho news, because I am really just fed up with this man. I just want him to go. AS Roma is still waiting for Jadon Sancho's final decision and answer after their contract proposal. Manchester United are ready to accept a 20 million fee on loan plus obligation. They want to get it done ASAP. Final green light now up to Jadon Sancho. Like, we just can't get rid of Jadon Sancho. Like, we honestly can't. We are the only team in the world to celebrate last year that Sancho was leaving on loan with an obligation to buy. We were celebrating it. It's done. It's sorted. The obligation's there. To find out there's a 5 million break clause. So then he's coming back. But then, oh no, Chelsea are willing to pay the 25 million obligation to buy. So we get all happy again. He's finally gone. And Sancho, you know, with all his posts about freedom and how all he wants to do is just play football, and he's not happy at Man United and all this freedom. But he doesn't agree to go to Chelsea to offer him an 180k a week, which, considering, you know, we don't have Champions League football, he'll only be on 200k a week at Man United next season. It's a 20k difference. You're in London. You really love Chelsea. It's freedom. You just want to play football, like you said. For him to then not go to Chelsea. So then Juventus are in for him, but oh no, Juventus can't agree personal terms with him. Inter can't agree personal terms with him. Saudi and Turkey are giving Sancho what he wants wage-wise, but he doesn't want to go to Saudi and Turkey. And it's like, well, you want to play for a big club, but you want the wages that you're only going to get in Saudi and Turkey because you've not done enough in the last 4 years to get the wages you're currently on now. And I can't get my head around Sancho and who's advising him and who's in his ear, because I'm like, is it you just want to run down your contract at Man United and make the most out of the crazy money you're getting at Manchester United, and then when you are a free agent, you can get a big signing on clause for the next club you go to? Like, is that what you want to do and you're just going to F us about the whole window? Are you waiting for Juventus? Like, I can't get who you're waiting for. You've had Chelsea, you've had Roma. It's not like clubs are queuing up. I think Sancho thought when he rejected Chelsea that he was going to find a club that was willing to give him higher wages inside Europe, and that's not been the case. Like, I just don't understand what Sancho's waiting for. Like, look, I generally believe that Sancho in Italy would succeed. Sancho in the right system where he can come inside and operate as a 10 in Italy, where maybe there's less pressure, could succeed, could earn his place at the World Cup for England. There's still a chance. He's still only 25 years of age. And, I just don't understand it. I don't know what maybe he's waiting for something. Maybe he's waiting for Juventus. Who knows? But please make a decision. Maybe tomorrow he will agree personal terms with Roma. That's great. And the deal can be done and the deal can be sorted. But I just don't know. I'm fed up. Anyway, let's talk about Carlos Baleba, because I'm also fed up to talk about Carlos Baleba. But I really want us to sign him. Carlos Baleba will remain a target for Manchester United in the summer transfer window of 2026. Basically, I think we're going to sign Carlos Baleba, but I think it's going to be next summer. United appreciate how the player was still keen on a move in a difficult moment for United. Maybe we're doing the groundwork to get him next season, although it's still going to be incredibly difficult to get Carlos Baleba next season, because I think Liverpool will be in for him, Tottenham will be in for a 6, and Liverpool will 100% be in for a 6 next season. Now, I think we can beat Tottenham to a 6. I don't know about Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So I do think it's a difficult one to do. But interesting things have been coming out in regards to Carlos Baleba. And there's 2 things I want to mention. Because I read earlier, and this apparently came from Fabrizio Romano on YouTube via United Faithfuls and X, that if Baleba's not going to happen this summer, Man United will definitely consider him next summer. I can guarantee that. He's saying if it's not going to happen this summer, which is probably the case. But, there's that, like, if it's not going to happen this summer, we're keeping the dream alive there. But no, this is the interesting thing that Baleba was putting out, and everyone's reacting about it. And honestly, I'm going to be honest, I think we're overreacting as a fan base. I don't think it's that deep. He's just put out, I'm a Baleba, and then, like, an arrow pointing down. And people are like, oh my God, what does this cryptic message mean? Is there something deep to it? I mean, look, maybe it's a bit of a random message, but he's going, I'm a Baleba. Is he a Baleba? The move will happen. Just, do they know something we don't? Was the Ornstein tweet a bit like the Ornstein tweet about Agate last year? And maybe there's a chance of Baleba happening. Last year, we walked away from Agate. We went for Sander Berge. We went back and got Agate. We could be doing the same with Baleba, but PSG wanted to sell Agate. Brighton don't want to sell Baleba. That's the big difference. But him saying I'm a Baleba is, a couple people are thinking, well, what's this mean? What's the meaning behind this? I honestly don't think it's that deep. Continuing on into other news, Simon Stone said that United are assessing the midfield situation, and Sporting captain Hjulmand is a player that Amorim knows well that's believed to be available this summer, although he said it's unknown if United will go for him. But we are looking at the midfield situation, and as of now, we don't really have an alternative to Baleba. Like, we've been linked to Wharton, but I just know that Wharton's also not going to be for sale this summer. So I don't know who our Baleba alternative is. There were links to a Gomez from sources in Seville, but I think that's just because it's an easy story to make up, because it's the most sensible alternative to a Gomez. But maybe we are looking at a Gomez. I think if our plan is to get Baleba in 2026, and we know we can't get him now, we're going to be looking at a 20 to 30 million midfielder, which could be a Gomez, could be a Javi Guerra. I think it could be one of those, with the plan of getting Baleba in 2026. I think United will do all the talks with Baleba and say we're going to come for you next year. Or maybe we are going to put in a bid for Baleba and maybe it's not over. Who knows? I think it's 90% over, but there is a part of me, 10% of me, that thinks we could put a bid in. I think if we have a bad game versus Arsenal and that midfield gets overran, we could put a bid in. And we could try something. Because I don't know. It depends. I really hope we get them. I really just hope we get a midfielder. Anyway, let me know your score predictions for Arsenal tomorrow. I'll probably do a live stream at midday anyway. Thank you for watching. Bye.